The following may contain offensive language, adult humor, and or content that some viewers may find offensive. The views and opinions expressed by any one speaker does not explicitly or necessarily reflect or represent those of Mark Radulich or W2M Network. Please listen with caution, or don't listen at all.
Hooray for Hollywood, where stars are living large, in mansions with their servants and their credit cards in charge, with fame that's fleeting, but the egos never change, where everyone's a genius, except the ones who really arrange. Hooray for Hollywood, where the scandals always sell, where every whispered secret is a new tabloid's tell. Oh, how we adore the endless red carpet galore. Hooray for Hollywood, where less is always more.
Hello. Welcome to Damn You Hollywood. I'm your host, Alexis Hejna, and let me go ahead and throw it over to... He's our nifty odd job host. He'll do anything for a slice of Wesleydale, Mr. Robert Winfree.
Of all the cheeses you could have mentioned.
Okay, I'm sorry. What is your favorite?
It's a Wallace and Gromit review. What cheese are we going to mention?
That's fair. That's
I was going to say, come on. Did you really think I was going to say smoked Gouda or something? It's freaking Wallace and Gromit.
It is. And I'm, well, you know, go do it, Zach.
Do what, Zach?
Gouda was brought up. I know you
know
have
what.
One.
Well, you want me to make some sort of cheesy pun, I guess.
Yes.
Well, that's no Gouda.
There we go.
Yeah.
There's a handful of cheese types that they lend themselves far too easily, and I have to sit back and let the puns flow when those ones come up, and Gouda is one of those. But thank you all very much, everyone, for tuning in. We are discussing tonight Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Fowl, and it is, in fact, quite foul. Dastardly even. Oh, the horror. But joining us, Alexis brought everyone in. We also have, you've heard him, but David Wright is joining us.
Hello.
And Zachary Strobel.
Oh, you wanted me to say more? Okay. Yeah, fun fact, Wensleydale cheese was almost on the verge of bankruptcy until Wallace and Gromit premiered, and it made the cheese so popular it saved the business.
Yeah, they basically...
True story.
Yeah, apparently Nick Park said he chose Wesleydale just because he said it gave Wallace like a... He wanted him to say the name of a cheese that would give him a big toothy expression, really show off the animation of his mouth. It's just like Wesleydale. It's just like it just fit the moniker so well.
Yeah. So Alexis, you're the one who kind of put this one on the schedule. I'm always we're all happy to talk about something as just delightful, pure, innocent, wholesome, made with loving care, and just well put together as the Wallace and Gromit franchise.
Absolutely. And yes, we are talking about the latest film, Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul, directed by Nick Park and Merlin Crossingham, story by Nick Park and Mark Burton. I try to combine their names there, starring Ben Whitehead, Peter Kay, Lord Patel, and Reese Shearsmith, distributed by the BBC and Netflix. So Wallace and Gromit, if you have lived under a rock or just have some kind of vendetta against claymation, has been around for well over 30 years, starting with the short A Grand Day Out that shows our wonderful little inventor Wallace and his silent but loyal companion Gromit deciding to go to the moon because everyone knows the moon is made of cheese and they had a bunch of crackers but no cheese. This was followed up with The Wrong Trousers, which will get referenced a lot tonight because the film we were discussing is a direct sequel to that.
Fun fact about The Wrong Trousers, apparently, because it has the big train heist, the big train chase sequence in it. Apparently, even the people who made it can't replicate that sequence again. It's like moderately lost technology to create that kind of stuff.
Lightning in a bottle, never going to strike twice. What'd you say, David?
Said it is one of the best gags ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was followed with A Close Shave, which gave us Shaun the Sheep, who is still a beloved mascot, and also inked a merchandising deal for Aardman Animation for, what's the mattress brand that the sheep are always in? Sentra? Serta?
I think.
Serta, yeah. Serta
Serta
mattresses.
mattresses
Yeah.
are the ones who do the counting sheep. Put the counting sheep out of business.
Yeah, they've launched new commercials that actually show the sheep being like all loving and sweet to the families who have the mattresses. And it's actually quite cute. All right. So Wallace and Gromit premiered at the American Film Institute on October 27, 2024, broadcast on BBC One and BBC iPlayer on December 25th in the UK. It was released on Netflix internationally on January 3rd, 2025. But thankfully, since it got released in the UK early, it did qualify for the Oscars, and it is up for Best Animated Feature. Sadly, it's probably going to lose to Inside Out 2, because we know that the Academy will always lean first to Miyazaki, and if there is no Miyazaki, then they're going to lean towards Pixar.
Which it's Inside Out 2 should not win Best Animated Feature this year, but we all know it should be The Wild Robot. But
Oh, no question.
Yeah, this is like the first year that sorry, I was supposed to be quiet. This is supposed to be like the first year where like actually there's some good contenders. Like usually there's like one weird one, but I actually wouldn't mind if any of these win. Especially this one.
Yeah, it's pretty solid slate for Best Animated Feature. Probably looking better than Best Picture.
in a lot of respects, yes.
Pretty much. All right, Mr. Winfree, if you would be so kind as to walk us through a plot synopsis of this Vengeance Most Fowl.
Sure thing. So we open with the usual kind of panning across the pictures on the walls of Wallace and Gromit. Then we get a little bit of a flashback to Odd Trousers and the apprehending and imprisonment of the dastardly Feathers McGraw, the criminal mastermind penguin and master of disguise, who tried to rob the famous Blue Diamond. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I just said, good grief, it's you.
Again!
A chicken responsible for all this. I almost fell out of my chair when he saw it coming, but still.
It's the look on Gromit's face when he does it too. Just like,
hey,
really?
in all
Again?
fairness, in the wrong trousers, Gromit didn't recognize him either until he put the rubber glove on and saw the disguise. So, you know.
Yeah, it is a
Sorry,
wonderful running
I'm
gag
sure.
that Feathers McGraw is a master of disguise when he's just a penguin.
He's just angry because they didn't animate his mouth.
Anyway, he was arrested in the aftermath of that. The Blue Diamond was put under lock and key by Inspector McIntosh, and Feathers McGraw was shipped off to the inescapable repository of animals, the zoo. He's in the zoo. And that's where he's been, these many years, plotting, scheming, preparing. And we then cut over to Wallace and Gromit, and per usual, Wallace is looking for a way to pay the bills. Gromit is doing Gromit things. He is gardening. He is being just the best dog in the world. And Wallace's invention this time around is a garden gnome that is a robot that will do gardening and house chores for you.
It's a
It's wonderful.
smart gnome.
It is a wonderful little invention, and everyone wants some of their gnome improvements to their gardens and their homes. And this will solve their financial worries, but Gromit feels a little bit like, hey, I enjoy gardening. I don't just want it done efficiently. Gromit is out here warning us about the dangers of automation and AI taking over everything that makes life worth living, and Wallace is just happy to not have to worry about paying his bills anymore now that he's created something this wonderful. But this poor little creature, this gnome, is our point of entry for Feathers. He has been collecting various bits of detritus and things left over in his pen at the zoo because people throw things at penguins. And he has created an extendable pair of hands that he uses to get at a computer that is in an adjacent room to his cell. And using this computer, he hacks into the Wallace household because because the
Attacks into
password to get in is, of course, cheese.
And then it's like, I am not a robot. Which of these pictures has cheese? And I freaking love that one of the pictures was the moon.
It was so good.
That was a great callback.
That was such a good gag.
And the fact that he actually paused and goes like, wait a minute. He actually has to think about it.
But he then turns the robot evil. Much like the Krusty doll, you throw the switch from evil to good, and now you got problems. So the gnome, now again bent towards evil, makes a bunch of other gnomes, a lot of them in point of fact. And they all go out on a gardening. They're supposed to go out and do, again, a bunch of gardening work, and this is going to get Wallace paid. And they do it badly because they are making mischief. They are stealing things. They are doing a lot of just a lot of stuff goes wrong over the course of their trip out. And I think Gromit at one point follows them, and the poor guy gets locked in a shed. But now everyone's annoyed at Wallace because all their stuff's being stolen and the yard work's done improperly, and what in the world are we doing here? So he's trying to make that he's trying to deal with that PR issue, while all the gnomes then go to break out Feathers McGraw from prison because they've assembled enough things to get him out. And there's a submarine at one point, and there's some digging. It's an elaborate scheme, but he does eventually escape. We have also been introduced along the way to a new character, a new police inspector who's going to be replacing Macintosh after he retires at the end of this last 24-hour period because he's close to retirement.
Of course he is.
But because this is a British claymation, he is not in danger of dying horribly 2 days from retirement. So, but Feathers McGraw is trying to break out because, you see, that blue diamond, the big one that he stole in Odd Trousers, did not, in fact, wind up in the vault because Macintosh never bothered to check the sack that it was in that Wallace handed to him. He actually threw it into a teapot that's in the Wallace and Gromit household that's just been out of use ever since Wallace created a better way to make tea. And so Feathers is after that. Now the police think that Wallace actually stole the diamond when they go in there to look at it and find just a big turnip.
Sometimes things in life don't turn up the way we want them to.
To be fair, there are so many puns and plays on words in this series that I think Zach is just being competitive.
Yeah.
He warned me, guys. He warned me that he had a whole list of puns for tonight. So I am just waiting with my finger over the Pinkie Pie button.
Look, if I ever want to make the world implode due to the concentration of puns and wordplay, I'm going to get Zach on here and we're going to talk the Phantom Toll Booth.
That is the most backhanded compliment, but I do appreciate that.
I'm impressed you brought up Phantom Toll Booth. Nicely done.
I have that prop here somewhere, but I don't want to reach it.
So Feathers shows up, and he and Gromit get into a bit of a chase. There's a bit of an action scene. Wallace and Gromit wind up tied up together, but you see, Feathers is able to sneak back in because he reattaches the rubber glove to his head, and now he's a chicken. And I can't stress enough, that's literally all he does, and everyone thinks he's a chicken. It's great. There's a montage at one point when they realize it's Feathers McGraw, like, he might look like this, and there's a giant smorgasbord of photo arrays of this penguin in the worst disguises known to man. But you just know everyone involved, like, oh, yes, clearly that penguin is now a dog. That penguin is now a...
My favorite was the toucan beak.
The toucan, yeah.
That is now Toucan Sam.
So Feathers gets the diamond. He gets onto a slow-moving barge through the canals.
Yeah, a canal barge.
Wallace and Gromit give chase, but Feathers at this point is aided by his army of evil gnomes. But the original gnome actually gets rebooted. There's a button on the back. He was restored to factory settings, and now he's good again. So he's helping them.
And it's the exact opposite of Droids and the Acrolite.
I was just going to say, that's 2 nights in a row now. We've talked about what happens when you set a robot back to factory specs.
Which isn't a lot, but in a relatively short period of time, it is unusual. So Wallace creates his rebooting machine, which literally just is a repeating catapult of boots that they throw at the gnomes. Anytime they're hit with the boot, they're rebooted.
Yeah, boomerang boots.
Oh,
Yes, they do. They do
yes.
actually boomerang.
the ones go deeper on that one too. Like the bit where he says, like, give it more welly, I just lost it. Because in England, those boots are called Wellington boots. And there's also like the expression that, like, if you're driving your car and like you want to go faster, you give it more welly, like you step on the gas. So it was like puns within puns.
Know that? Oh my god!
I had to pause it and explain to my wife.
Yeah, the wordplay in these movies are just tremendous.
Mhm.
So again, we get our big chase. There's an accident with the barges. Gromit is holding on to, like, the big emotional moment here is actually Gromit hanging off the edge of the barge that is teetering on the edge of an elevated canal, as it is like precariously seesawing, about to fall over. And
like
the
on
only
an
way he's going to get
aqueduct.
out of this is if he tosses some extra weight, like the diamond, to Feathers, who's on the other end of the barge. And Gromit comes around the corner, Wallace comes around the corner and says, just give him the diamond. I can't live without my best pal. And so he throws the bag at Feathers. Gromit winds up being saved by a bunch of gnomes, making an extendable ladder out of themselves as he's falling, which is actually kind of cool. Feathers hops off the edge, lands on a train that's going by, because, again, we're referencing the train sequence from his first appearance. And he speeds off with his bag, but somewhat predictably, but still gloriously, he opens the bag to find the turnip. Gromit had absconded, had pulled the old switcheroo. He's got the blue diamond, hands it over to Macintosh. Wallace's
No
good
idea
name
where
is
he was
clear.
hiding, but
It's best not to think about it.
no
Yeah,
idea where he
don't
was
have-
hiding that diamond. Yeah,
Cartoons
this is not
will-
one of those shows where you obsess.
Yeah, cartoon characters can have pockets. Just imagine, just invisible pockets. They will always have invisible pockets.
Right.
And that's true. That's mostly how that works. The rules with cartoon characters are pretty well established. If they don't know the rules, they don't apply to them. So,
I thought the rule was there was no rules.
no, there's actually a lot of rules.
Oh, okay.
Like the Roadrunner,
But,
he only
but
runs
before
on
we get
roads.
bogged down in before we get bogged down in cartoon physics, let's keep this thing going.
That's true.
We're
again,
we're
Wallace-
almost there.
Name is what?
Wallace's good name is cleared. Feathers, while on the loose, was thwarted. Macintosh retires to be with his barge, because this is what he wants to do with his life, is enjoy time on a barge and kick back and enjoy the good life. Our new investigator learned the importance of intuition instead of just going by the book. And that is where we leave things with, Wallace, like, okay, I can cut back a little bit on the automation, but I found a way to pay the bills for the next month. Gromit had his big adventure, because the basic formula for Wallace and Gromit is Wallace looks for ways to pay the bills while Gromit does Mission Impossible. And yeah, that's where we end on this one. And I sincerely hope we get more of these in the future, because I love these movies so much.
You and me both. Wallace and Gromit just have such a fun, timeless appeal. The original shorts are still great, still fun to look at. The animation has really held up over the years. You could probably watch a Grand Day Out and see that maybe the animation's a little tighter than it is, since they have more access to.
Grand Day Out's a bit rough. Like, you can kind of tell that was the first one, but pretty much from the Wrong Trousers forward, they pretty much nailed it.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
at its time, it was great.
also halfway through,
Yeah.
halfway, like when they get to the moon in Grand Day Out, they actually got, because before that it was all Nick Park, and then when they got to the moon, that's where it looks so much tighter when they get to the moon, because then they had Aardman helping them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, Aardman Animation has just always been such a great company to watch cartoons with. I love almost all of their projects. In addition to the Wallace and Gromit pieces, we also have the 2 Chicken Run films. We have Flushed Away, their first CGI, which was a lot of fun. I would say it's probably one of the weaker of the entries, but still a lot of fun. And like I said, Wallace and Gromit, there is a purity to it that is so sweet. You love watching these guys. Gromit is in the top, I would say not even top 5, top 3 greatest animated dogs of all time. And it's so much fun to watch a character that is completely mute, has no real facial expressions other than his eyebrows. He has no smile, he has no mouth, and yet can say so much with just a little move of the eyes. And it is so hard to find a character that has lasted that long in that popularity and just still is so impressive. So, Zach, you were one of the first ones to reach out to me and ask if we were going to review this. I said, absolutely. You wanted to talk briefly about some of the previous Wallace and Gromit works, if I remember correctly.
I have
VHSs, folks.
VHSs, but this is not my prop. I wonder whose prop it is. Anyway,
I'm sorry, you may need to clear that up. The guys don't get the joke.
No, the joke is Alexis mailed these to me.
Those were mine. They were a gift. I had those for years. I found them in storage when I was doing a massive clean out a few years ago. I took a picture. I was like, anyone just like found all this stuff, and Zach's like, can I have those? I'm like, pay me shipping, and they're all yours.
And I did. But yeah, I actually do watch these a lot, like when I'm having a bad day, because they're only like 25 minutes each, but the pacing of these are just wonderful. So I have the original shorts, which I loved watching as a kid because I watched them on TV and stuff. And it was they probably took up so much space in my mind that I probably could have learned another language. I think these things are in English. Then I have the original movie, which is awesome. But I have it on DVD because when this came out, there was no more VHS, which was when we peaked as a society. But other than that, and here's my copy of A Matter of Life and Death. Oh wait, if I had one, that's the one thing I don't like about that, because it's not on physical media. But I was thinking about the review, and I was thinking about how can I talk about stuff that so many people have praised the series for its wonderful animation, timeless characters, simplicity, but also complexity. And I just thought I would just summarize it in one word. And that word is charming. These are beyond charming.
Oh, I thought you could say cheese.
Well, I didn't want to use foul language.
Hang on.
But other than that, it was just I really like these shorts. I think they're just really charming, and they're very simplistic, but also they get around a lot of emotion and character and story in a little bit. Like in the beginning of A Grand Day Out, it's like they want to go on vacation. Oh, let's go to the moon. Apparently it's made out of cheese. Next scene, they're building a rocket. They're going to the moon. One of these days. Like, it's just like, can I do that reference? I don't know if I could do that. Oh, who cares? I did it.
You're good. We're good with the honeymooners here.
Okay, good. But yeah, that's what I really like about it. Do you want me to just talk about my thoughts on the movie, or do you just want me to summarize the series before we go into the movie? I'm a little unclear on that.
Think you can do the series in 50 words or less?
I think I just wanted to. I don't know. I just. There's a lot I would like to say, but so many people, including you guys, have already talked about it. It's just because when I grew up, I did some stop motion animation. You could find it on YouTube. It's pretty cringe, but the point was, it's just the workmanship in it. It's just wonderful, and yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the series.
All right. David, you also reached out to me and said you wanted to be on for this one. I was going to say, it's like, have you always been just a huge Wallace and Gromit fan, or did you watch this and you're like, oh, I've got to talk about this? What made you want to come on for this one?
I mean, I've been a fan before. Like my family is originally from England, so you sort of get the education through them. So yeah, like say, the shorts were on TV from time to time when I was a kid. So when parents saw them, like, oh, Wallace and Gromit, you got to watch then we loved them. We bought the VHS. We're super stoked when came out, and watched that. Matter of Loaf and Death, of course, and so we've kind of always been sort of fans of Aardman, especially Wallace and Gromit. Chicken Run, again, fantastic movie. I still have to watch Dawn of the Nugget, but I'll get there. Was it? I think it was called, where it's like a Stone Age tribe kidnapped by the Romans and forced to play soccer or something.
Curly Man.
Oh, right.
that was
Oh my
another
God, I had completely forgotten about
Yeah,
that one.
Thing.
Yeah, I think I heard that said like nobody saw this movie, but at some point people are on streaming and regret they're not going to see it. I think like it came out against a whole movie or something that was pretty much sacrificed by the studio, but I heard good things because Aardman, flushed away again, just like a joke a minute, like just really high energy, great fun movie. So whenever there's a Wallace and Gromit thing or an Aardman thing, I'm usually in for that and happy to talk about it. But this movie, Pesky the Cartoon Man. Oh, that was an easy one to respond to. But super happy that they did another one. Yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, looks like we do have some people watching. If you want to comment, let us know what your favorite Wallace and Gromit shorts are. We can hopefully put up a handful of those comments here on the wall, and we'll see what our fans think about this classic duo as well. So please go ahead, guys. David, please continue.
I think as far as rating them, I would probably go with Wrong Trousers and Cave. Like I can't really choose one over the other. They're both like equally really, really good. And just like the density, much detail, and they're like still like I forget which one it was, but like at the end, Gromit's reading the paper, and they have like the main story, like Sheep Rustler's caught or Feathers McGraw. Mm-hmm. Then in the little corner of the paper is like dog reads newspaper. And just like watching this film, like every time there was like anything in text on screen, I'd be like, pausing and going up to the screen. It's like, is there any hidden jokes in there? Yeah. Wrong Trousers, solid choice. Yeah. So I think like the only real complaint I would give against it is it did feel a little stretched out. Like it wasn't quite as compact, like because it was like 90 minutes instead of 30, but it was still like really solid storytelling. I like the whole, like say like the Gromit can't talk, but he's so expressive, and Feathers McGraw, Zach, you said he has no mouth, but boy does he have an expressive neck. like just like the tip of the head that he gives to Gromit after he like throws him the diamond, like good job. Like you can kind of almost imagine what he's trying to communicate in all those situations. Like it's kind of hard to give like a coherent like why this is good. It's just so much like this happens and this happens and all this stuff is awesome. Like he reprogrammed all of these grown gnomes just by setting the default setting to evil, and they like built a submarine in the basement with like an upside down bathtub for the conning tower. And apparently it was also super important that like there was like a pipe organ in it so he could do his evil
toccata and fugue,
evil
of course.
You have Gromit spying on him in the zoo, and he's like sitting in the Blofeld chair
with the baby. Oh my God! No.
And you're waiting for him to turn around, and he's petting a baby seal, and it's just like,
oh my God!
Why would he be doing that? Because it's funny. That's why.
Feathers McGraw petting the baby seal may be the most unintentionally adorable thing I have ever seen in my life. Especially because he actually, you can, it's hilarious. Again, the baby seal has no mouth, no eyebrows, no expression, but you could see he loves getting pet by feathers. It was so cute. I squealed when I saw it, and I couldn't control myself.
Yeah, and it's smooth. Like it establishes early on just how Wallace has gotten just way too overdoing it with the inventions that like every menial task has been automated in their house. Yeah, and just Gromit just kind of getting sick of it.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. If you actually think your dogs want an automatic petting machine, no.
Oh, that
Just
was cruel.
no.
Yeah, that was like the symbolism was perfect there, and of course at the end he gets the pat on the head, good boy, just the
Mhm.
Which he is.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Yeah.
he's the best boy.
He's
Yeah.
the best boy, yeah.
Like, it doesn't really tread any new ground, but it's just solid jokes. Like they go into the canal boats and they just like throttle forward on everything. It's all exciting, and then you just see like the wide shot of just the boats pop, 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 pop. Like they move really slow is the joke.
Or
A
even the
little bit
scene.
like trying to escape on a parade float.
Yeah.
Or even the scene that we earlier established that the gnomes have removed the engine and the tires from Wallace's van to make sure that he and Gromit can't escape and go to the police or anything. But when Feathers wants to get away, he has his army of gnomes go full Flintstones on us.
Was
And
that the
they're
only person who thought of the luggage from Discworld?
Now that you bring it up, no, but you might have been the only one who had it first thought. That's a good one though.
I just love that the gnomes are all
And don't
going.
forget the added detail that they make. Yes, they make all the car noises when they stop. There's like, "Arr!" It makes no sense, but it's hilarious.
It's so funny, the gnomes especially, because when that smart gnome first showed up, I looked at him like, okay, that's going to give me nightmares for a week. But it really is interesting, especially then when you see them programmed for evil. And guess what? Now they got black eyes, which is terrifying. But it is hilarious how quickly those gnomes grow on you. You love those little things by the end. The voice actor who does the voice of the gnomes, hang on a second here. I want to get Reese Shearsmith. I mean, unfortunately, I'm convinced at least half of these they're like just record once and we're going to play them over and over again. But still, it's so fun, and you really do just learn to love these freaking guys. They're to quote what you used to Zach, there is a charm to them, and it really gets to you by the end. I'm a happy little gnome. I love to trim the hedge.
Yeah, it's a nice little earworm. But yeah, Aardman's kind of mastered the art of like the cute little marketable characters. Like it was the rabbits in Curse of the Were-Rabbit, slugs in Flushed Away, the sheep in A Close Shave. I want to say Shaun the Sheep. That's a different show, which had a lovely little call out in the film too.
Artist Minions. Like they did Minions before Minions.
You know, that's true.
Yeah.
We see
pretty much they did Minions.
But yeah, that is true. We have always seen
Minions did Minions.
We've seen film companies for so long have really tried to do the endless marketable sidekicks, the minions. I mean, you can think of just any animation company. It's like, yep, and they tried to do something like that. But really, Aardman did kind of do it first.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Well, Robert, again, you kind of got sprung. This kind of got sprung on you last night because we were talking about coming back for this, and you said, "Wait, am I on that?" I'm like, "I don't know. Are you?"
Yeah, it's on my calendar, and so yeah, Mark must have sent me an email about it because I go through those, and that's how it gets added in my calendar. But yeah, I watched this pretty much as soon as it came out because I have like everybody here, like there's nothing wrong with these movies. They're great. And it's so nice to, at a bare minimum, just be able to enjoy earnest filmmaking, because so much of modern filmmaking is drenched in bathos, sarcasm, fourth wall leans or breaks. To just get something that's just so unapologetically straightforward in what it does and is wonderful. Again, the density of jokes that these guys are capable of producing is quite high, and it's one of my favorite running gags throughout this series is the books that Gromit reads. They're all classic literature, but either the title or the author's name is changed to be somehow dog related.
And it fits perfectly. I mean, he's reading A Room of One's Own by Virginia Did it say wolf or did it say Virginia Woolf? I didn't catch
Wolf.
it.
I think,
So
I think
It's
it was
Virginia Woolf.
And of course,
Yeah.
he's reading that right as the gnome comes in, basically saying, "I need to recharge, and you've got an extra plug."
But yeah, throughout
Annoying
all the
recharge
Wallace and
cycle ever.
Recharge at 1%. I was like, "Oh my god!" Imagine if your phone did that. Just trying to go to sleep. You put your phone on your charger, and your phone's going, recharge at 1%.
Yeah.
Yep,
And the flash is constantly blinking too.
That
But
would
yeah,
be
if you go throughout again all the Wallace and Gromit, Gromit's always at some point reading a book that is one of those that's just, they've changed something about the name. Again, title of the book or the author to be very dog related. So this is a series that, you know, when stuff's on screen, you almost want to pause and look at it because every detail does have to be accounted for with the style of filmmaking. Nothing here is wasted. There's no like smudges or stuff that's like again designed to be looked at slowly. It's very much just, you know, all attention to detail. And that kind of craftsmanship just really shines through into the overall product. I think because this is one of the first ones that's been released where social media was kind of a big part of both the promotion and how people have interacted with it. One of the directors was on Twitter or X and went like, you know, you guys all really hate Feathers McGraw. But I don't get it. He's just a lump of clay. And the overwhelming response was just the gif of Feathers pulling a gun on Gromit. He's just a lump of clay, but he pulled a gun on one of the best dogs ever.
The best boy.
Definitely.
Of course, that's a very easy way to get your character hated is to pull a gun on Gromit.
Really does show just how much character they have given to this. You know, we talk about animated villains and whether or not they actually leave a lasting impact of how much we love them or hate them. And surprisingly, I don't think enough people mention Feathers McGraw as one of the top best animated villains. It always goes to the Disney villains: Ursula, Jafar, Scar, Frollo. It's like, no, Feathers McGraw definitely deserves his own top spot there.
He should definitely get more consideration.
Yeah, he's like one of the great. I don't know. Does DreamWorks still own Wallace and Gromit?
Let's take a look.
I don't know.
I don't think
who has.
I don't think I saw them in any of the credits.
Not on this one.
Okay, because if he does, I was about to say he's one of the top DreamWorks villains, right next to Lord Farquaad and Jeffrey Katzenberg.
Hang on a second. I'm just going with it now.
Yeah, I got the joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. DreamWorks never actually owned Aardman. They co-financed a handful of their projects and got producing credits, but they never actually owned them.
Okay.
Well, this dude lied to me.
Well,
Maybe they were
like
like a distributor or something.
yeah, if they helped produce, then they might have had distribution rights, especially in the United States. Because I'm pretty sure. I think Chicken Run in particular has what was a DreamWorks like distribution model
Yeah.
distributed by them, if nothing else.
I remember that distinctly because I remember seeing the DreamWorks animation come up with that triumphant. Oh my God! God help me. Great Escape style music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why? It's like, wow, you set up for a perfect segue and you forgot the name of the Steve McQueen movie. What is wrong with you?
Also, there was in the Were Rabbit, they released I remember I saw it because I saw it 20 years ago because I'm old. But there was a penguin short, the Madagascar penguins. They showed that before the.
Yeah.
That was the Christmas Penguin short, wasn't it?
Yes.
That one's still. I actually watched that again over the holidays this last December. It's still really funny.
I'm sorry to get it back. I just wanted to make that joke.
And oddly enough, they in that short, the penguins briefly disguise themselves as nuns, and Feathers McGraw decides to disguise himself as a nun.
That is one of the outfits that they have on that again, like store that photo collage. Wasn't there one of those that was just like a cowboy hat?
Yes.
He might be traveling as an American.
Especially love when he comes out to find the boat and it was advertised as the perfect getaway. It's you were kidding. They really have fun with the wordplay on this.
Just a ridiculous level of intelligence that goes into all of the wordplay in these movies. It's glorious.
I hate to say it's really hard to find more stuff to talk about because we're all just sitting here basking in the awesomeness that is Wallace and Gromit.
Well, I have a few things. I don't know if I reviewed the movie yet. I don't know what's important. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
Yeah, sorry, David. I think your internet might be a little slow tonight, so I think we're having a little we're having a little lag with getting you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm calling it.
Yeah. Apparently the internet's Canada is part of the tariffs. Good to know.
Well, that's a date to review, but
those haven't gone into effect yet.
Yeah, I know, but if someone did make the damn joke, I was going to be disappointed.
Yeah. Should I review the movie or?
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
From now on, but
no. Yeah. Oh, that's much better. So the thing about this movie is, sorry. The thing is, it's like, I told my friends about this movie, and I'm like, dude, you got to check this thing out. You got to check out this children's movie on Netflix. Yeah, I'm 34. Yeah, what's your point? Anyway, but I showed it to and the thing is, and I'm very sad that there are people, unlike the four of us, who are not as educated in Wallace and Gromit. And I watched it with my sister when it came out, but then I wanted to watch it again because I wanted to be refreshed, and also because the movie is really good and I don't have to pay a theater fee to see it again.
True.
Which is one of the plus of it, which I'm sad it's not in theater, but also that is one of the pluses of this being direct to streaming. And I showed this to my grandma, and my grandma is like, why are they so mean to this penguin? What does this penguin ever do to anyone? I'm like, no, Grandma, that's Feather McGraw. He's a bad penguin. And she was like, oh, okay. But, before I forgot, I brought this up in the chat. Simpsons did it. There's a Simpsons reference, which is on YouTube, where they actually predicted in 2011 that the next Wallace and Gromit movie, or at least in the spoof they made, was going to be about garden gnomes.
Oh my God, you're right.
And they got Nick Park to actually cameo in that episode, which I won't give it away because check it out. Not now during the review, after the review's over. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. But it's funny. There was actually a joke I just thought of. They call him Norbot, but they should have spelled it Gnorbot with a silent G in front. I don't know. I just thought that would have been funny. But it's already pretty funny. But what I really liked about this movie is whoever, and I'm sure it's just an IMDb, Wikipedia search away, but the person who edited this movie, who paced this movie, this movie is like 75 minutes long. I thought it was like 40 minutes long. Like I thought it was like I'm like, wow, this actually feels like a short, but like in a good way, which is ironic because with Were Rabbit, they were like, we're gonna make this short into a movie, and then 20 years later, we're gonna make this movie into a short, like that. But I mean that in the best way. It definitely feels like those three original shorts. Like it feels like I was a little skeptical with them bringing Feathers McGraw back because I feel like, but it was great to see him back. And also on an unrelated but semi-related note, tattoos for Feathers McGraw, because I'm in the Wallace and Gromit Facebook group, and like every other post is like, I got this tattoo. And yes, there is a tattoo of him petting the seal.
Wow, someone really couldn't wait, could they?
No, they couldn't. But I really like this movie. It's funny. It just brought me back to that part of childhood where it's like it was like lighting in a bottle, but they nailed it. It looks great. The effects actually don't distract. They actually improve the story. The hidden jokes, like you guys mentioned, were great. The only things that were kind of a little weird, but honestly, the more I think about it, first of all, why would Wallace put an evil setting on his robot? But again, this is Wallace. This is the inventor who loves to eat cheese and crackers, and then I realized I was a little bummed at the end that Feathers got away, like he wasn't captured. But then I realized, but then again, we're not back where we started, so it didn't feel like rehash. But the only thing I'm a little worried about is I just hope, like, it was great to see Feathers again, but I hope we move away from Feathers if we do get another Wallace and Gromit short movie, VR game, which they were working on. Look that up in the future. But I really loved it. If it doesn't win Best Animated Picture, at least it got nominated. Like, I'm still like, this was a great short or movie.
Well, it's won a handful of Best Animated Feature awards. Again, the Oscars haven't happened yet, but some of the other ones, it's actually picked up a couple. So,
well, as it should.
Let's see here. Best Animated Feature nominations. Because I can never remember. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Wild Robot, Wallace and Gromit, Inside Out 2, Flo, and Memoir of a Snail. And Flo is the one that won the Golden Globe.
Yeah. This is if we're just talking like best, this is a ridiculously stacked year for Best Animated Feature. I mean, it's almost comical. Any one of those is a almost hands down winner in any other year over the last like 5 years. It's kind of silly in that respect.
Okay. Just wanted to mention, I Wikipedia'd it, so I have a 99% chance of this being right, but or maybe 9% chance, I don't know. But it was Dan Hembury, I hope I said that right, who edited the film. So I just wanted to give a shout out because as someone who used to edit for film, it is not easy. So
Say the pacing on this is great, and all the jokes land. Not to mention, it's great to see a nice comeback between the wordplay, the little hidden jokes, and some really great physical comedy. I still just kind of died laughing when Feathers were gonna punch the bagpipe playing gnome off the
That's how you know he's truly evil.
Well, actually, it was bagpipes, so
I mean that was almost as offensive as when Wallace couldn't use a teapot.
It's broken. It's what's like, Jesus Christ, Wallace, you're British, man.
You call yourself an Englishman?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's considered high treason in the UK.
Yeah. I know, right?
You get deported for that one.
No, you get deported for serving it iced in with too much sugar.
I think the last thing I had kind of on my mind when talking about this, I think it was a little bit before this movie came out, Aardman came out and said, yeah, the clay that we used to make these is actually kind of running out. It's hard to find.
Make more!
And
I would say apparently the company, the manufacturers of the modern clay that they use had gone out of business.
Yeah.
And they said, we only have enough. And they said at the time, we'll only have enough clay for one more film. And the fans lost their mind.
The internet rallied pretty hard around this one. It's like, what do we need to do? We will figure this out.
Well, Aardman actually released November 20th, 2023 on Instagram a post that said, we are touched about recent concern over the future of our beloved clay creations, but wanted to reassure fans that there is absolutely no need to worry. We have high levels of existing stocks of modeling clay to service current and future productions, and much like Wallace and his workshop, we have been tinkering away behind the scenes for quite some time with plans in place to ensure a smooth transition to new stocks to continue to make our iconic productions.
So they had clay.
I just remember when that first came out that, like, yeah, the place that made this stuff went out of business, and the horror and activation that went along in the internet community about this just was all over the place.
And yeah,
they could have had one of the most successful GoFundMe's ever for restarting a manufacturing production for clay.
It really is touching to see the fans just rallying behind it. It's like, and it's hilarious because I think at the time, Dawn of the Nugget was about to come out, but it's strangely enough, no one clamors for more Aardman animation, or wasn't like, we want more of this. But the minute we found out we may be deprived of it in the future, just that is a no-win possibility. Nobody ever wants to see that. It's like, no, we don't know when, but if you tell us we'll never get another Wallace and Gromit project in the future, we will riot.
I think part of the reason we don't clamor for it necessarily is that we all trust everyone involved to make these when they have it right.
When they're dry ready.
Yeah, when they're not like these people don't. This is not a property that works on the assembly line factory the way that most modern Hollywood studios do. I'm going to pick on Disney because they're the biggest, but Paramount does this. All of them do it. It's like, we have to. Here's our release schedule. Fill it. We don't really care how good it is. Just get it out. Oh, well, hang on. No, we can't have it be that bad. So, reshoot the movie. Okay, we'll do touch-ups, and then, no, people still don't like it. Well, that's okay. There was a strike. We'll push it back. But as a general rule, they just want stuff. They want the trains to run on time. And with a place like Aardman, Studio Ghibli's kind of the same way. Like, we're not out here going, where's the Miyazaki movie for this year? We understand there might not be one, but at the same time, if you were to say, yeah, Studio Ghibli is, shutting down, riots like that would be unacceptable. There's certain, studios and creatives that everyone has enough faith and trust in you'll work it out. You'll work it on your schedule. And we are more than happy to give you the space and time to do that. As long as you're not, completely screwing us over. And with, 20 years of trust having been engendered when it relates to this stuff, it's easy to just let them do their thing.
Yeah, it certainly helps that Nick Park has been consistently involved across all projects. I assume there's other people. Yeah. He's the big name, but I assume there's others. So, yeah, they have enough different projects going on that they don't have to do a Wallace and Gromit movie all the time. Well, I think probably Shaun the Sheep is their big cash cow.
Or cash sheep.
Yes, thanks, Zach. I left that one open for you.
Hang on.
That is a sheep that they have shorn more than once for profit.
I'm going to make that my ringtone.
Like I said, the mouse has been over that. I just like the minute the joke is said, it's like, and click.
Yeah, just don't like all the bad puns.
Mark's gonna hate me by the end of this.
I think he's gonna be the most upset that the plot summary was so quick this time round and he missed it.
He really is. Like the one time we get through that in like 20 minutes flat.
I know.
With interruptions.
We talked about Wallace and Gromit. We didn't go on about Marvel or Star Wars.
Yet.
Yeah. No, Robert. I knew you were trying to sneak Captain America: Brave New World in there.
I was honestly, that was more about Dial of Destiny because I've actually seen it. I am temporarily halting my Captain America diatribes until the movie actually comes out, at which point I will revisit.
Okay, there's like a 30-day suspension.
It's about 2 weeks because then it comes out. That thing comes out again, not next week, but the week after.
10 days comes out.
Wait, were we talking about an old man that went to the moon with his beagle?
Is Gromit a beagle?
Yeah, it's canon.
Oh,
of course he is. So the two best animated dogs are beagles. This is not a coincidence.
I was going to say, it is always going to be right up there between Snoopy and Gromit. They will always be the best.
Yeah. But so now that we have some dead air, I also think that we should talk a bit about Ben Whitehead, who did the voice of Wallace in this one. Because sadly, Peter Sallis passed away in the past. And it was just Yeah, I was prepared to think that like the Wallace and Gromit died with him, like that would be the end. But it is just uncanny how good Ben is at doing the Wallace voice.
Did Peter train Ben? Because I know he was doing voices for like British commercials while Peter was still alive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Apparently, he was like working, like they were trying to hire a replacement for Peter, and he was the one like coaching them. And they just kind of realized it. Wait, he's actually just like perfect at doing the voice, so we may as well just use him.
There's a few video like clips floating around of Ben Whitehead talking about that, like how much he has to try. He's trying to replicate what came before because Wallace is so indelibly associated with it that like all I can do is try and do this justice. And the other big thing that came out about that was watching him say cheese in Wallace's voice and how just like the mouth extends this way to say it properly.
Yeah, it pretty much turns into Wallace's mouth.
It really does. It's kind of freaky.
Yeah. I know. I just want to backtrack a bit. It was like, first of all, with the Grande Out, it's just how lucky. I mean, we're just lucky how great that came out. But it was like with Nick Park, it was like because he was originally a big fan of Peter Sallis. I forget what he was on before he was Wallace, but he was like, he was gonna like, I think he was gonna get his dad to do the voice, or was that and he was like, let me get this actor, and the actor was like, he'll never do it, and he did it, and he did it, and it's one of his most famous roles. He's like, let me get this cheese company. It's like, can we use your name? Yeah, we're going out of business anyway. Just use it for your
That was probably one of the best decisions made in the history of marketing dairy products.
No kidding.
No, right?
Let me get one of those biggest British studios to help finish it. I'm glad they all aligned together, but it's just like, man, that was like when the planets allied to like, and I'm glad that happened because we got like one of my favorite franchises ever.
Absolutely. And I really do hope that so apparently Mr. Ben Whitehead worked as a read-in artist for Aardman and started doing some voiceover work for them, not playing Wallace per se, but playing some other characters, including Mr. Leaching in The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. He was also a voice character in The Pirates, Band of Misfits. I can't believe that's another one we forgot to talk about. That's another Aardman production that, frankly, is horribly overlooked. It is really funny. So
it's just hard to crack into the pirate space with in the memory, because your memory of pirates tends to be taken up by the combination of Pirates of the Caribbean and the Muppets Treasure Island. And the Pirates Misfits just kind of gets lost a little bit between those two spaces.
We joked about that when we reviewed Skeleton Crew previously. We said when it comes to pirates and fiction, you can go one of two ways. You're either going full campy Pirates of the Caribbean, or you're going Somali, look at me, I am the captain now, life or death pirates. There is no in between with them.
It's really difficult to pull off.
But no, I really do hope we get to see more of this. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and pull up the critical response on the... Oh, you know what? Actually, I think Mark did want me to go ahead and pull up Rotten Tomatoes on this, so maybe I should go ahead and do that. I can't believe I forgot about that. Usually when we do Damn You Hollywood, but for a streaming movie, we don't discuss the critical review. We obviously don't do the money.
The critical review, some of this we will, depending on how things have gone. If we're reviewing a streaming movie that is the first thing we've done in a week, we'll talk about the money anyway, just to see what has happened in the box office space, but even though we know it's not the one movie we're discussing. The critical stuff, frequently we do. That one's about 50-50 on streaming, depending on how long other things go.
Isn't the movie have like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, let's go ahead and
let's
find out.
If there isn't, we need to go get some roofing supplies and pillows, and we're gonna have to deal with this. So
Are you ready? No! I say No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Riot supplies, get your riot supplies.
Robert, I am sorry. I accidentally hit the button a little too soon there.
No, you're good. That's a really weird way of saying we're going to have to tar and feather some people, but it doesn't look like we need to.
100% on the tomato meter.
As it should be.
On both top critics and all critics. And all lines at 92%.
What 8% of the audience is that degenerate?
Oh, we are going to look that up.
The Penguins were very offended by this movie.
You know what? That's probably true.
Yeah.
Critic consensus, comforting as cheese and crackers with some gentle ribbing of modern technology sprinkled on top. Vengeance Most Fowl revives this lovable pair with all their charm intact.
Absolutely.
All right, let's
Good
go
AI.
ahead and
Good
see
AI.
who was
Good AI,
ballsy enough to give this.
Sorry, I just have to call it the one review. Do I need to say anything? God damn it, it's Wallace and Gromit. That should have been the AI.
It really should have.
All right, let's see. If nothing else, let's see if we can find some of our favorite people to pick on. Okay, positive. Yeah, see, it's like, okay.
No, these are actual written ones, so these are all going to be positive.
There's got to be, but actually, you're right, because it's the critical review. It would be 100%. So let's just see if we can find some of our favorite people to pick on here. Let's see here.
Do people get to write audience reviews, or is it just the number?
No, users can submit reviews, so you can find written audience reviews.
Yeah, maybe someone submitted a rotten review that we could tear apart.
Yeah, I like this one from Animat, Mad Brunette. If you guys haven't checked out Animat's channel on YouTube, he's actually a really good animation reviewer, saying it doesn't take a smart gnome to see how Wallace and Gromit's second movie is absolutely brilliant.
But it helps, allegedly.
Yeah, little tick birdish, but still pretty good. So, okay, I really hate how it
it shunts you to the bottom instead of just reloading from where you were, and I don't know why they're doing that, but it is really annoying.
They're doing it to make us mad. They did it specifically to make us, the four of us, mad.
Well, it's been annoying Mark for a few months now, so they got at least one bit of collateral damage if they were aiming at more than just us.
I just hate it because I have an incredibly short attention span, so I scroll back up going, wait, were you on the previous page? I honestly didn't pay attention. So, yeah, it's like, come on, where's the people we love making fun of?
I
like how we're reviewing the critics' review.
That is this segment, because so many of them are bad at their job. But consider how good this movie is that even people who normally are not very good at this stuff get it right.
Mm-hmm.
I think we united the world with Wallace and Gromit. No one has anything bad to say.
I have no problem with that.
If something was going to, may as well be them. Dude, even Variety got it right. I don't know how to feel about that.
Peter DeBurge from Variety, compared with the last few Aardman features, Vengeance Most Fowl feels more contained, which is ultimately a good thing.
That's sort of to Zach's point. Like, some of their stuff feels like they have a great idea for something that's about 15 minutes shorter than the runtime they wind up turning in. But again, we're dealing with a studio that has such a great track record. That's a relatively minor gripe, even on some of the other, stuff that deserves, it is maybe a little bit more worthy of sharper criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, also because these movies take so long to make, and because they do usually like to do shorter running times, it's like they cut the fluff, like in a close shave. Like, if that movie was 15 minutes longer, what was her name? What was that girl? It was the only other girl in the entire series up to that point. It's on the box. She was like Girl Wallace.
From Close Shave.
Oh, Wendelin. Sorry, I Wendelin. It was like, if that movie was longer, they would have had like a romance plot, but they had to cut it because it was only a half hour long.
And she doesn't like cheese.
That was never going to work.
Yeah, that was just like, nope.
Well, nope, that's a deal breaker. She also doesn't like Christmas and Thanksgiving. Boo!
If I may borrow a line from Mark, friend of the show, William Bibiani of the Ref, says, this is more like a very long Wallace and Gromit short film. That's a wonderful thing to be. It's got great heroes, a memorable villain, and more whimsy than is probably recommended by medical science.
Yeah, the whimsy component for the Wallace and Gromit franchise at large is... That's maybe the other reason they're released so infrequently, because too many of these too close together would, in fact, cause... some negative side effects.
It makes you appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Alex said, yeah, everyone has agreed. And for one brief moment, the world was united in love, and we all shared a cup of tea and some cheese and crackers.
Yep, and it was glorious.
All right. Well, yeah, I can't remember the last time that I don't think we've ever done a show actually where it was 100% positive review.
There have been one or two throughout the years. Usually when that happens, it's because Mark and I wind up getting to it either the same week, or usually it's something that releases alongside another film that gets a lot more traction. So something with a bigger release profile will get more critical attention. And we'll frequently wind up talking about the second or third biggest movie that came out. So it has just fewer reviews to draw from in its pool. And then, we check back a week later and suddenly the score is more in line with what it should be because more people have gotten around to reviewing it. But I mean, for this one to be at, 100 plus reviews, all positive, like that is a pretty serious rarity. And we should all be just very grateful we were blessed with this as far as how it came out.
Definitely. Admittedly, though, this doesn't make me want to watch the shorts so much. Well, not the shorts, the three big ones. I want to go watch those the cracking contraptions segments that came out. I freaking love those, especially with the little robot trolley that has to use the loaf of bread as a cane to carry back the cheese like it's a freaking survivor of war returning home. And in the end, the whole thing is stolen by Shaun the sheep, as it should be.
Well, Shaun's one of those weird characters who just likes to get into just a little bit of trouble. I mean, one of my favorite Shaun the Sheep gags is when he breaks Gromit out of prison by sending him that puzzle with the date with the instructions on it, and then he just pops up into the window
with the saw.
First of all, in that gag, it said it was 1,000 pieces, but I counted because I paused the movie and I have no life. I'm just kidding. No, it's a great gag.
No, that is adorable. You know what? As much as iconic as Wrong Trousers is, I think Close Shave is my favorite. Just because it has a few more laughs, just a few more moments that make you just snicker really loudly. It's also got a little more slapstick, I would say. I mean, sorry, the scene of Gromit losing control of his bungee cord while washing windows is always going to make me laugh. And yeah, Shaun the Sheep is adorable.
I think Close Shave is my favorite, but Wrong Trousers is the one I think the one that I always put, like I said earlier, like if I'm having a bad day, I'll put on Wrong Trousers because it's short and it makes me happy. But I've always enjoyed like the just a close shave a little more. It's just a little more, a close shave, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to set a record for that tonight.
We're going to wear that clip out. We'll have to retire. We'll have to give it like a break for a couple of months after this show.
Mark, I'm going to have to find you another clip of somebody doing a rim shot. We may have to retire Pinkie Pie. All right. You know what? I think we've talked about what else is there to say? Guys, if you haven't seen this, it's streaming on Netflix. Go check it out. It's fun. It's sweet. It's touching. It's well made. It is Aardman animation.
Good for all ages. You can. Yeah. Another thing that gets brought up on occasion here, that animated stuff in particular that can be watchable by both children and adults at the same time. Pixar used to be kind of the king of that. It's a little bit more iffy now. They're still very good at it, but they're not batting nearly what they used to. All of the Wallace and Gromit movies, despite the fact that they're quieter and they're more deliberate, they're not, pardon the expression, they're not TikTokified. They still engage younger kids, and you can easily watch these, and the adults and children can all have a good laugh together, and that's again kind of a rarity.
If you already know who Wallace and Gromit are, you've already seen the movie. If you don't know who Wallace and Gromit are, well, hopefully you do now, and you should watch the movie.
The shorts and the previous. Just go binge on Aardman Animation and go see the first Chicken Run.
Don't leave your house. Just binge. And if you don't know who Wallace and Gromit, then I'm sorry that you sat here for an hour and 10 minutes. You must have been really confused.
It really is wonderful to see that even in the state of the world, there are some things still as pure, charming, and fun as Wallace and Gromit, and it is still batting 100% all these years later. So go ahead, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. You know what? Go check it out again. Go watch it again. It's worth a rewatch. You're probably going to see a lot of little background gags and little wordplay jokes that you may have missed the first time. So go have fun. Let's go ahead and move on to the plugs. Mr. Winfree, I believe you're going to be back here before too long to review Love Hurts.
Yeah, Tuesday, so again, 6 days from now, Mark and I will be reviewing Love Hurts, because we needed something, and that looks like a lot of fun to me. So that's what we settled on. And, Ki Hu Kwan is actually really awesome, so I'm happy to watch him. His career sort of like going away after being a child actor and then just exploding back onto the scene with Everything Everywhere All at Once was one of the most genuinely heartwarming stories to come out of behind the scenes Hollywood in a long time. So we'll be reviewing that, and that looks like a lot of fun. Another sort of play on the bullet train. Good action, funny, memorable characters, and hopefully with a little bit of a heart to the narrative. And so Mark and I will be reviewing that. I also cover mixed martial arts and professional wrestling over at 411mania.com. So WWE SmackDown on Fridays, UFC events on Saturdays. This Saturday is UFC 312. If you want a full preview of that, you can check out my other podcast, the 411 Ground and Pound MMA podcast, where I talk about the wide, wacky, wonderful world of mixed martial arts. And this last week, that included some rather unpleasant discussions, because MMA has a host of people involved, some of whom say very, 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 very stupid things that when you get to that many varies, I have to address, even though I normally try to stay out of fighter drama as a general rule. But, somebody going, I think Hitler was probably a good guy. I think that merits a response. So I get to talk about that one on this last episode. So tune in for that if any of that tickles your fancy.
And then a week after that, prepare the soapbox. We're going to be talking Captain America, Brave New World.
A Brave New World.
Thank you very much. Princess Ichigo, she enjoyed the discussion about the movie, and we try to do this at least once a week. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. David Wright, where can our listeners, viewers find you? Do you know where you'll be coming in next?
I think up next is probably Cobra Kai Season 3 for TV Party tonight. And I think Mark and I will be doing Strange New Worlds as soon as we figure out when that's actually coming out.
Hopefully never.
It'll come out. I think they're good till Season 5 now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Brave New World. Sorry.
Oh, no, like a Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brave New World. That's coming out. Yeah, on Valentine's Day weekend, I think. Yeah, that's about it. I've got a baby at home, so
you have significantly more important things to do than to What's the expression? Like flap your gums with us.
Yeah, though it's a wonderful break, guys. Thank you.
I will still always remember the episode we brought you on, and you were holding your baby in your arms, and she sadly started crying and just really freaked Dorian out because he didn't realize there was a baby on the screen.
Yes. When we went to his birthday party, it's like, who are you? It's like, I was the one with the baby. Oh.
All right, Mr. Zachary Strobel, I've got some pictures here that I believe you wanted me to show of some of your new work.
Yes.
All right, let's see here. Oh, so that's how that works. I actually have to... Sorry, this is the first time I'm bringing up something like this that's not like a different screen. It's something totally different. So, there it is. Yes, share that. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about Blob and Krillium?
Yes. So this is... So as you know, and if you don't know, you should, but I'm actually a children's book author. I've written, Blob and Krillium will be my 10th book. I've written such wonderful books, such as Dinosaurs on the Moon. Spoilers, the moon is not made out of Wensleydale cheese, but it is a good one.
So it's in the fantasy section, okay.
Yes. Yes, the dinosaurs were real. That was scientifically, but the cheese moon, nope, fiction. But anyway, to keep it focused, yes, Blob and Krillium is it's coming out. We're aiming for a March release, which is, or if not March, then April. That's why it says storybook coming spring 2025, which is right around the corner. This is my first book I've actually written in 5 years, and we've got a lot of great talent. I don't know if these characters were designed by animation legend Dave Alvarez, who has worked as a character designer on Disney, Looney Tunes. Great guy. And I hope I say his name right, but because I've only seen it in writing, but Andrew Keiko, he did the, he's a great guy, Andrew is a great guy. He's doing the illustration. We're trying to make this book have the writing and the visual illustrations of that of a 2000s, late 1990s movie. And I think we really nailed that. He nailed that aesthetic. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be on lulu.com first. When it's out, I'll definitely plug it again. But we're trying to get it on Amazon, so it should be on Amazon at least a month later. So hopefully March on Lulu, and then April on Amazon. But if you can't wait till then, you can go to Amazon.com, search Zachary Strobel, and find some of the books that I've written before then. Alexis has helped me, so she can vouch that these books are pretty cool, as the kids say. But yeah, we are. That's my plug, and I should be back next time this month to review. Does the Looney Tunes, or is that going to be in March when we review Looney Tunes?
That's early in March. We're going to be reviewing the new Looney Tunes movie. Let's see here. Where is that? Is March 3rd. Damn you, Hollywood! The day the Earth blew up.
To Bluey.
Don't really know much about it except it has something to do with Porky and Daffy, aliens, and a ton of bubblegum.
Hey, that's enough for me. But yeah,
that all tracks.
Yeah, but that's my plug. And yeah.
All right. So in addition to doing that, I will be joining Robert to discuss Captain America: Brave New World. Week after that, February. Just realized I had that on the wrong month. February 24th, we are going to be doing a special Damn You Hollywood talking about the Oscars. We're going to be looking at the 10 pictures that are up for Best feature film of the year. I will also be doing in 50 words or less a brief discussion on the films that are up for Best Animated Feature. Of course, Wallace and Gromit is going to be included in that, but obviously just going to be going over that briefly. It's not going to be a complete rehash of that. So, and as far as the plugs that actually do pay my bills, Honeysuckle Rose Creations, where fashion meets fandom at the intersection of geek and chic. It's kind of hard to jump between sharing screens over and over again because I don't have that big of a computer screen to do that. So I'm trying to get like a million windows where I can still focus on all of them. So fun fact, I actually didn't know that I was going to be doing a sale. Apparently I agreed to pre-opt into a pre-Valentine's Day sale. Just went out to my store the other day to check something. I was like, wait, why the hell's that? Oh, okay. Apparently my stuff's on sale now. Who knew? So everything is currently on sale. If you're looking for a fun, geeky gift for your loved one for Valentine's Day, or you know what, if you hate Valentine's Day, but you still love geeky accessories, come check us out. We have added a bunch of brand new stuff, including our guillotine Scrabble tile dangle earrings, which I am actually wearing tonight. Just got those put on. Got a bunch of other stuff, including if you're a fan of the Helliverse with Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, we have our 7 Deadly Sins charm bracelet. If you're a fan of the Amazing Digital Circus, we got Gangles, mask earrings. If you're a Legend of Zelda fan, we have our very limited edition Korok-inspired Scrabble tile charm bracelets with glass leaf charms. We are only making 4 of these. So like I said, very, very, very limited edition. In the meantime, we're getting ready for Paracon. That's Missouri's paranormal convention here in Kansas City. It's going to be at the end of this month at Ameristar Casino. Looking forward to that, especially because we're going to be bringing all of our Clue jewelry. It's hosted by the Belvoir Winery, which does their murder mystery party. So we're excited to bring in our murder mystery jewelry. As always, you can find us on, we have our stores here on Etsy. We also have a shop on Handmade and Amazon. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok, as long as TikTok is still around. You know, at this point, we're going to go in week to week. We don't know when that's going to finally go bye-bye. Again, that's Honeysuckle Rose Creations, the intersection of geek and chic. So for myself, for Mr. David Wright, for Mr. Robert Winfree, for Mr. Zachary Strobel, thank you so much for joining us all. Be well, behave, go have a cup of tea.